Hey everyone! Welcome to your Thread Faction Sewn Episode 1 bonus content! If you're looking for the actual episode, you'll find a link to that in the description box. But what we're here for now is a beginner knit sewing basics mini course. We're going to cover off what I believe to be the 5 basic knit sewing skills that should get you up and sewing with knits in no time. We're going to cover off seams, hems, bands, bindings and elastic. This clip is going to cover off bindings. For all the others, check the description box. Bonus! So, bindings. It took me a while to have a go at bindings when I first started sewing with knits, but once I conquered the binding, there was no holding me back. There's loads of different ways to sew knit bindings. The one I'm going to show you today I think has a really good finish on the inside and the outside, and is one that's quite easy for beginners to get a really good results. Your first stop in the binding journey, the ironing board. Okay, first step in sewing a binding is to prep your binding piece. This is just a little sample length, but it'll give you the idea. This is the wrong side. Fold the edge over 1 centimetre. This is a 4.5 centimetre wide piece of binding. We're going to fold over 1 centimetre on each side and then fold the whole thing in half, just like bias binding. Once you've ironed your binding, all we're going to do is take your binding piece and put the right side of your binding piece against the wrong side of your main fabric. Your binding piece is going to be a little bit shorter, so you need to gently stretch that the length of the fabric. I just sew along 1 centimetre from the edge. Taking a couple of steps to anchor and then getting everything lined up. The handy hint when you've taken your first few stitches and anchored your thread is to grab a hold of your tail ends, and that really helps your knit fabrics to start feeding through nicely. Just like that, gets it moving. So now you've got your binding attached to the wrong side. Just need to trim about half of this seam allowance away. If I were the pressing type, I'd now take this over to the ironing board and press this seam allowance up towards the binding. However, it's not really my style. So, take the top edge that you've pressed down and fold it down along its pressed line, and then down along the other line. And then your binding should just cover the stitch line from where you stitched it on. Obviously you can put some pins or use some clips to hold this in. And we're just going to top stitch along here. I am going to use a triple stitch today. Right, just stitching right along that edge there. Taking it easy and making sure we don't stretch all out as we go. And there you go. Stretchy and tidy front and back. You can also use a twin needle to sew your binding on, or a zigzag stitch. Whatever works best for you. Thanks for watching this Thread Faction Sewn bonus. See you next time.